So it's great to have you, Joe Zuk, operating partner at Altamont Capital Partners. And something that really stands out to me when we've talked to other private equity firms, they typically don't seem to put a lot of the efforts past the investment part into the companies that they're investing in. But you take a different approach. I like how on your website you even talk about rolling up your sleeves and really diving in, which I imagine would help the success of the companies more so because of the experiences that you all bring. Joe, can you walk me through what really separates you all and why did you take this approach?
Certainly. Well, first off, thank you. Secondly, so my job today at Altamont is really to help kind of shape and build the next generation of insurance and financial services businesses. But more importantly, I always like to say I act as a force multiplier alongside our management teams. And here at Altamont and myself personally, we love to build businesses and back talented management teams and executive teams to build de novo, what I'll call mid-market growth, private equity-backed platforms in insurance and financial services. We're very focused on the people, first and foremost, the management teams. And then thirdly, do we have a definable right to win? So alongside, we spend a lot of time resourcing and recruiting talented individuals to support those management teams. And I always like to say I end up hiring myself out of jobs in our portfolio companies as we source, better talent and, help solve the next problem of that particular business and create value and scale alongside our management team. This playbook's been very successful for us over the months and years that I've been with Altamont now over the last 6 years, and as I look forward.
So what made you personally want to get into the financial services world? And then when you think of yourself as a leader in this, did you already have experience coming into it, or did you have to learn the industry and be a leader at the same time?
That was a great question. So actually, like most people, fell into insurance and reinsurance through family. So my uncle ran a publicly traded insurance company, which he took public and then later took private in a sale as well. But I originally wanted to be on Wall Street as an investment banker. And in 2002, 2003, the economy was a little tougher. And so asked him, hey, what else could I do, as I wanted to stay in New York and not return back to Los Angeles where I grew up. So he said, hey, why don't you call these guys called reinsurance brokers? I had no idea what reinsurance was other than it sounded interesting. And so that's how I started my career as an intern, and then getting a full-time offer when I was 19 years old and going to school at night and working full-time during the day. So I was often the youngest person in the room talking to people who had been in the industry longer than I'd been alive. And early on, I was doing a lot of unglamorous work, but it set the stage for really understanding deeply insurance and reinsurance and broader financial services. I think what was really neat about reinsurance is that it's the oxygen of the economy in a lot of ways. Financing, loans, leverage, nothing gets done without insurance and reinsurance, especially when you think about big industrial projects, real estate, services companies. Insurance indemnity products really are that core foundation. And I like to think provide the oxygen in the economy. So it's a really interesting role in the business because you get to learn about every different industry, as you can imagine, under the sun, and know enough about it to be dangerous and really build or craft the specific product that provides that indemnity. Over time, my career evolved from brokerage to underwriting to primary insurance, and then pivoting to the investment side of the equation as an operating partner with Altamont over the last 6 years. Working to build businesses along entrepreneurial leaders.
Well, now it makes sense why you are more hands-on, because you've had the experience, you've been in it, versus somebody who maybe just be investing, but they've never had the actual building of the business experience. So what do you see now that you've been in this industry since 25 years plus? What are some of the biggest disruptors that you're finding right now?
So certainly the hot topic is AI, right? And technology and so forth. I do think that's starting to kind of permeate the insurance and financial services industry, albeit slowly. A lot of it comes down to data and fundamentally organizing the underlying data and what it can do with large language models, and then starting to apply AI. But it's really augmenting the financial services professional to do more and more in his or her role. That being said, it's still quite a long game and very much still a relationship-driven business. I do think AI and technology helps the financial services professional make better decisions, do more, and then more importantly, though, really kind of closes somewhat of a talent gap that we have, especially in insurance and reinsurance, as we don't have a lot of young people in the business today. I think the long-term vision of AI will be really interesting, but it's still a long ways to go. At the end of the day, it's folks that remain infinitely curious about the business, are willing to develop relationships, and have just as much EQ as they do IQ.
I mean, AI is disrupting everything, it seems, or it can, right? As things get slower. It's very fascinating how a lot of these older industries are starting to adopt or maybe push back. But when you evaluate a team or a business, what do you think separates the ones who are like, okay, these are definitely going to succeed? I can tell right away, versus the ones where you're like, okay, we're gonna have to really put more effort into this.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it goes back to the fundamentals. Do the individuals have a deep industry understanding, expertise of the area that they're operating in? One, two, have they really examined the problem from all sides? And then three, is there a compelling reason and a right to win that backs their thesis of their business? And is that durable and sustainable over the cycle and over time? Those are some of the key components. And then I would say last is just a willingness to overcome any problem that they face or any hurdle and outwork anybody else to do that.
So what challenges did you, when you transition into the private equity and into more of the investment side, what were some of the challenges that you faced moving? Because I think a lot of people don't make that move necessarily, right, in their career. They might either, be the founder or be the investor. But what was it like for you?
Yeah, certainly. Look, I was super fortunate and super lucky to kind of make this pivot as an operating partner into private equity. But one was somewhat creating my own luck, getting to know private equity, trying to create value, putting forth ideas, and being persistent. What was probably most challenging for me early on is just where do I spend my time and how do I allocate my time, and how do I create value alongside our executive and senior management team of our portfolio companies. In addition to that, I was thinking about making sure that I am really closely aligned with the objectives of the fund and the objectives of the executive and senior management teams.
So when you think about the perfect pitch, or if somebody's going to pitch you, what do you hope that they send to you, information they provide? Is there a certain place where their company needs to be? What do you think would be like the perfect pitch if somebody's looking to get investment from you all?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Look, we've seen pitches and proposals in all shapes, sizes, and forms and manners, right? I would say, what is the perfect kind of pitch and so forth? Really being clear, concise, and having really consistent message in terms of what they're trying to solve for, why they need the funds, how are they thinking about deploying the funds, and looking at it both not only from their perspective of needing capital to deploy or launch a business or acquire a business, but from the investor's perspective as well, as to why should they allocate dollars behind this, and why should there be investment dollars to launch something or to acquire a business, for example. It's not easy, and it certainly takes a lot of refinement. I think there's a lot of issues where folks get lost in the details or have unrealistic expectations. And the key thing is to making sure that you keep it very simple, concise, and clear in your ask.
I imagine like you're saying, it's very easy to get lost in this, right? Like, what information do I need to provide? Do I do too much? People probably get nervous if they're talking to you, and who knows what happens at that moment. But if somebody wants to get in touch with you, though, let's say they want to pitch you, it's an investor, how can they do so?
Sure. Well, first off, again, thank you for the opportunity. Always the easiest way is to connect with me on LinkedIn. I write articles pretty consistently. Just search for my name, Joe Zuk, Z-U-K. As an operating partner at Altamont Capital Partners. If you're a founder and executive in insurance or financial services and you're looking to scale and would like to learn more about Altamont, feel free to reach out. And then, I'd love to hear from you. At the end of the day, one of the best things and great things that I can do for the industry is work with people and create value. And if it's even just to be a co-pilot or thought partner on something, one of the big things I like to do is try to help connect various individuals and be a sounding board.
Well, Joe, this has been great. I learned a lot today. I didn't even know about the different types of insurance, or I was still not even sure about how even private equity works in different facets. But thank you for, we are always excited for people that are helping other entrepreneurs and business owners thrive, because that's what we are here at Top Leaders. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you as well. Appreciate the time.